Hey, howdy, hey! Welcome to Avilla Theory. My name is Nicole Avilla, and here's my husband,
CJ Avilla.
Ooh, today he's CJ Avilla.
Christopher.
Hey, I was just thinking about it. What is your name, sir? Did you know, if you haven't been listening since the very beginning, did you know Hey, howdy, hey is from Toy Story?
I did.
And that Toy Story, I don't know if the movie itself is one of my favorites, but
Woody,
the character, is definitely one of my favorites, especially I feel like he's such a sweet cowboy, and I'm such a sweet gal, and he donates one of his organs, and I donate one of my organs. Anyway.
I forgot about that. That's an interesting alignment. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, we are back, and today we just wanted to update you on a few things that have been going on. But first, we wanted to say thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you to whoever it was out there. In a previous episode, we talked about this stationary bike, the Peloton, the One Peloton bike, how much we like it, how much we've been enjoying it.
How much we love it.
Yeah, we love it. And we put out a referral code, and one of you lovely listeners, used the referral code. So thank you.
So exciting.
Yeah.
We have no idea who it was.
Yeah, you got $100 off, and we also got $100 off.
Yeah.
Something.
So what's really cool, so we've been having our oldest, Greyson, ride the Peloton.
We haven't been having him. He has been wanting to.
He's been asking, and so we finally gave in.
Yeah.
And we were like, I think we can make this work. The seat definitely can get low enough for him. The issue is we don't have shoes for him.
Yeah.
And so he's totally just been like, that's fine, Mom, whatever. And so he's been using my shoes, and we're like stuffing socks in them to try to like make it work. And he's been fine, but he's really been enjoying it. Like, really.
He loves it.
He would go on every single day. And I have to like make him get off. For
hour-long bike rides. And he's just like pouring sweat.
After an hour, I'm like, you must get off. Like, I can't even ride it for an hour. I don't know how you're doing this. But anyway, so CJ and I have talked about it. And we're like, we should really get him his own shoes. Mm-hmm. But the official like Peloton brand shoes they're pretty pricey. Yeah. And his feet grow really fast.
Yes.
So anyway, we've just been thinking about it. And then that
we saw the referral come in.
The referral came in, and so we're going to get him some shoes. So whoever you are, thank you.
Yes.
You have helped Greyson get some
Peloton shoes.
That'll work perfect for him.
And Logan is excited to do the same sock thing that Greyson does.
Yes. Yeah. He wants to do it too.
His arms need to grow though.
Yes.
We'll see.
So also, we have changed. I know we had an episode about our school, and our school has not changed anything. However, the governor in our state has decided or required that masks must be worn by all ages, where previously, if you were 9 years or younger, they were not mandatory. And so our school was not making them mandatory either, which I was really happy about, because I just can't imagine those little kids having to...
Like a kindergartner, like...
Yeah. I mean, not only like having to wear a mask all day, but also having to like manage it. Like, where is it? And is it even going to be clean? Who knows where they're going to take it off and throw it. Someone steps on it. I mean, and then they're putting it back on their face.
Yeah. Is it covering your nose?
It's such a big responsibility for a 6-year-old. And our kids aren't too much. Actually, one of our kids is a 6-year-old. Yeah. So anyway, because of that, and also like the spike in cases recently in Washoe County, and a number of different factors. And because we are fortunate enough to have me home, we just thought it made more sense for us to switch to the full distance learning. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Yep. 100% distance learning.
Yep.
At least for the first part of school.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sad for the kids because, it's a brand new school, and I'm sure a majority of the people are going back, and they're going to be missing out on that. But I think it's the right decision for us. So that's what we'll be doing. And as it starts, I'm sure we'll be updating you on what's going well and what maybe we're gonna change. And thankfully, we only had to commit for 1 quarter. So if after 9 weeks we decide they can go back, then they'll go back.
Yeah. Also, we learned who their teachers are going to be.
Yep, we're excited about that.
Yeah, things. We went out and made sure that they had enough technology and the right kind of technology to be successful with the distance learning. And I think we'll probably talk about that a little bit more, but after doing some research, I decided to get both boys a Mac Mini, which is like basically just the PC part of an Apple computer. And you can get them pretty powerful for about the same price that you would get like the bottom end MacBook Air. And so rather than doing MacBook Air, we did Mac Mini. We set them up stations so that we can monitor and we can see what they're doing. It's out in the open. It's in the kitchen in like kind of like a school setup instead of like something they can take into the bathroom or take into the bedroom or whatever, kids are going to do with laptops. So I think a lot of folks are trying to decide what kind of computer. Maybe you've already done it, but like, is it a Chromebook? Is it some sort of MacBook? Is it going to be a tower PC?
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, we also felt like we have Macs. I mean, CJ has a Mac for work and his own Mac, and then I have one, and they last for a long time.
Forever. Yeah.
So I felt like if we made this investment now, it potentially could last the rest of their, minimum at least till they got to high school. Maybe they would need something different in high school. And so I felt really comfortable with that. I mean, the Mac Mini Grayson was using before is like 10 years old.
More, yeah.
And it still works, but we wanted it to be faster than it was.
Yeah.
So we ended up upgrading it. But, if we can get 10 years out of each of these computers, that is, in my opinion, money well spent.
Yes.
And I forgot that was one of the reasons that we wanted to be able to monitor.
Yeah.
Because it's different when you have a 6-year-old versus when you have a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And so, we have those stations, and my desk is right in between them, so I can keep an eye on what's going on during the day. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Me too. Yeah. It's so cool to see them learn computers. And I was like kind of pushing them pretty hard to learn Scratch and learn programming languages and learn about basic stuff. But recently they've also picked up, like, started playing around with iMovie and started playing around with GarageBand and editing audio and editing video and a couple different things. And so that is super, super exciting to me. Logan has been publishing videos directly to YouTube about like Lego builds that he's doing. And so I'm excited for them to have the technology and the tools at their disposal to be creators and instead of just being consumers.
Yeah. Logan was teaching Greyson how to make a YouTube video.
Yeah,
it
how
was
to make edits
super cool.
Yeah.
I was watching him and I was like, wow, like he really understands how this is working.
Splitting clips and like fading audio and all that stuff. I mean, iMovie makes it pretty intuitive, and so that like speaks wonders to it because this kid, while he can read and write like at a kindergarten level, he's still able to use the computer, and instead of writing a file name or something, he'll just write like 90. 91, 92, 93, and then he just remembers like which files are named 91,
but
92, 93. And then
it's also encouraging him to learn to read because he wants to know what everything on the computer says. And so it's different because it was easier to motivate Grayson to read by just finding books that he loved, but it's not as easy for me to find something that Logan truly loves in just like a normal standard book. But when it's like doing a project, he's 100% like on board.
Yeah, or reading about Yorkie poos.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, anyways, that's been kind of cool. We got them. So I already had monitors. I had a dual monitor set up when I worked from home and went to school in college, and I bought these 2 monitors in like 2006, right? And they are still kicking strong. We mounted them to the wall, and they're just like these old school 22-inch HP monitors. So those work fine with via HDMI with the Mac Mini. We had like a pile of old mice and like USB cords and
stuff that I've been trying to get rid of. I'm like, Christopher,
I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I had this. It's like, oh, there we go, got a bat.
Finally got to use them.
Yeah, and so they're both like completely hooked up. They've each got a pretty nice Logitech webcam that has like a decent microphone.
Right.
So they should be set for Zoom calls and Google
And again,
Meets.
like we felt comfortable investing in that because we want him to be able to communicate with his teacher.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to easily see her and have her see him, and they need to be able to communicate.
Yep.
And on top of that, CJ wants them to be YouTube famous, so
they
need a camera for that.
And know how to program and like blah blah blah. But yeah, they're pretty cute about asking, like, can we learn Python today? Can we learn JavaScript today?
Yeah.
So we're going through we've gone through Scratch. They're both like proficient at Scratch.
They are.
And they're able to mix and match stuff directly from the like MIT integrated development environment. But now we're moving on to learning JavaScript with Code Academy, which like the reading level is pretty high. But anyways, yeah, tons of fun.
So let's get into the meat of this episode.
Yes.
The reason why we're all here.
The meat.
Yes.
So
we're all here because, babe, you're looking good.
What? No.
What's happening?
Okay, yeah, get out of town.
Tell us where you're at now. You're still doing this whole keto.
Yeah, so I have been very poorly adhering to a keto diet in which I randomly eat pieces of toast sometimes. And I've also been like experimenting with intermittent fasting, and then I did a longer fast. And so the intermittent fasting I was doing...
Wait. Take a step back.
Okay.
How much weight have you lost?
My heaviest, which was a long time ago, was like 265. I'm now around just under 220.
Nice.
Yeah, so 45.
How's it feel?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty agile.
I was gonna say spry.
Spry. Oh, what was it? Oh man. Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. I feel pretty energetic. I have been able to work longer, I think, maybe.
Oh, that explains it. Start eating more food.
So yeah, I think the whole coronavirus hunk chunk or drunk.
Yeah.
Like now that I think about it, like I had one margarita in the middle of July, and I haven't had any booze other than that for like.
And we're like a week into August.
Yeah, we're
so
10 days into August. But like, so that's contributing, I think, not having like not socially drinking, not.
We've kind of broken the habit of like needing dessert at night, and I feel like I've been buying less of the things that tend to trigger you, and so I feel like you're in a really great groove right now.
I'm in a pretty good groove.
You've figured out your body, and you're still trying to like change things up. And you recently made 2 changes. Yeah. One was you did a fast, which we'll talk about, and then 2 is you're changing your feeding window. Yeah.
So intermittent fasting is where you fast for a certain period during the day, right? Everyone does intermittent fasting, right? But we don't all restrict the time that we're allowed to eat. So everyone, like, as soon as you are done eating at the end of the day and then you start eating at the next morning, that's like your fast, right? Yeah. And so like for most people, they stop eating at like 8 p.m. and then they start eating at like 6 a.m. or something, right? And so
their breakfast.
Yeah, they break fast in the morning after fasting for maybe 10 hours, and then they eat for 14 hours during the day. And so there's this concept of time restricted feeding, whereby you try to eat in a smaller window during the day when your body is like more actively digesting food. And so there's like 2 kind of ways you can do it. You can either eat lunch and dinner, or you can eat breakfast and lunch, but you try to like keep it generally like one of the really common pattern is called like 16-8 or 8-16, where you eat for 18 hours and then you fast for 16 hours. No, you eat for 8 hours. Did I say 18? Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, you eat for 8 hours and then you fast for 16 hours. So this is like a form of time restricted feeding, and I was poorly adhering to this also. Like I was kind of doing keto, kind of doing like a protein version of keto, and kind of doing time restricted feeding. But what I was doing was I would eat my first food at like 11 a.m. and then I would eat my last food at 7 p.m. And so I was like eating food for those hours, but I was also having like a Starbucks coffee in the morning with sugar and whatever at like 8. Which is technically breaking your fast. That breaks your fast, yeah. And so after doing like more and more research about fasting and all the benefits of it, like that wasn't a great move. And also when you eat until 7 p.m. and then you go lay down at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. to go to bed, you're finishing your last meal pretty close to when you go to sleep, which also isn't great because your body is still like, your heart rate is still high and your body is still pumping blood to your gut to help process the food, et cetera, and your digestive process is still happening when you're trying to go to sleep,
Right.
which can interrupt your sleep, which has like a cascading effect. So what I am experimenting with now is early time restricted feeding, where my feeding window is earlier in the day. So I break my fast. I have a coffee in the morning. I have a protein shake in the morning. I have a whole bunch of food in the morning, like usually right after I go for a bike ride or exercise. So the plan is wake up at like 6, work out for an hour, and then break fast at 7 and eat like 1,000 calories packed with protein like immediately, basically.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
your feeding window would then be from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which means
Yeah.
you're skipping dinner.
yes.
Which is interesting on my side because I don't have to make as much food for dinner.
Yeah.
But what I think you have found is that you are so busy between the hours of 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. that you forget to eat.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you're trying to do your workout and you can't do your workout because you're so hungry.
Emaciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had to adjust your calories.
Yes. I have to I have a timer set.
Isn't this interesting though? Like I feel like this is maybe a problem you really haven't had before. And
Being
now,
so busy that I forget to eat.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you've always been busy, but you've been able to make it up. You've been like, okay, work is done 6 or 7 p.m. Okay, now let me get in all those calories that I forgot to eat during the day.
Yeah.
But since you've kind of adjusted things, now it seems like a great problem to have. Like, when am I going to get those calories in?
Yeah, it's nice, but like I have been, because I want to like try to be more rigorous about sticking to that feeding window. I've started setting a timer 30 minutes before the end of the feeding window closes.
Yeah.
So that I can be like, oh shoot, like I did not eat enough today. Let me hurry up and get like cram down a protein bar and some beef jerky and some chicken and the string cheese and like whatever. And then I know that as soon as the end of my feeding window, that's it. Like I'm not going to eat anything else. I'll have some vitamins and some magnesium before going to bed, but that's it. And then by the time I wake up, like I'm either like super hungry or I'm kind of like right in the zone.
Yeah.
But,
so you just started this last week, so we'll have to report back
Yeah.
on if you're able to adjust it just right so
Yeah.
you can still get your workouts in. But what I think you really should talk to us about is the fast that you just
right. Okay.
did.
So we did I attempted and failed. Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
Christopher, come on.
I attempted.
You
and
got really far.
I did. So I was at the beginning of July. I did a 36-hour fast with my brother JP, and we did. It was just like water and vitamins fast. And that's it. And at the end of it, we were like, that was so easy. Come on, like that was like maybe we had a little bit of brain fog at the end, but it was nothing. Like 36 hours was nothing. And when I told the internet, they were like, come on, that's nothing. Like people do way longer, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Let me try 3 days. Let's double it from 36 hours to 72 hours. And so,
and for some reason you had it in your mind that you needed to do it at the beginning of the month.
yeah, I was like, let's just start, because part of my thought was like, if this goes well, let me just start every month
With a fast.
that's like a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And so it was mostly about like the mental challenge of it, but there's also a whole bunch of other benefits. You can get like, you can improve your gut health, you can improve your sleep, you can like reset a whole bunch of stuff. After 48 hours or so, you go into ketosis, but you also like initiate autophagy, which helps like realign your cells and helps your cells
your
kind
body
of like,
starts repairing itself.
Yeah, exactly. And so we got to, let's see, day one.
Day one was a Saturday.
Day one was a Saturday.
Which I was not thrilled about.
No. So, okay, so I stopped eating Friday night at 8 p.m. Or it was like 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And then Saturday came, and on Saturday we went for a 5.7 mile bike ride in the 90+ degree northern Nevada weather. That was pretty dehydrating.
Yeah. Also, we stopped for ice cream.
Yeah, on the bike ride.
CJ did not eat any, but
I didn't
we
get any
did.
ice cream. And then after the bike ride, we went all the way up to the cabin.
We had to drive up to the
we
cabin and
worked on
unload the
cabin.
truck, and we didn't do a lot of physical work up there, but it is mentally exhausting to do that.
So it wasn't just like a chill at home, meditate, relax, take showers kind of day. It was a busy day.
It was a busy day.
then Sunday, and on Saturday, to be clear, all I did was drink water. I didn't take any electrolytes. I didn't take any vitamins. I didn't take any minerals.
Yep.
And that was a huge mistake.
That was a big problem.
Because of the bike ride and being active like that, I ended up drinking 5 liters of water, which I usually just drink like 3.5 maybe a day. And yes, you get 20% of your water from food, but if you're only drinking water and you're not taking in any electrolytes, then you're flushing out your electrolytes. If your body doesn't have electrolytes, it doesn't work. It doesn't do the right stuff. And so Saturday, whatever, at the end of Saturday, I feel kind of fine. Whatever, I'm hungry, I'm a little bit foggy. And then Sunday comes. On Sunday, we went to the pool. We went swimming. Also another very dehydrating activity. Also in the super hot summer in northern Nevada.
Yeah.
And at the, right before we went to go to the pool, I had diarrhea.
Yeah.
It was, I was like, okay, this is super weird. Like, I'm having diarrhea in the middle of a fast. Like, I haven't been eating anything. Like, it can't be like food poisoning or whatever. It's like, okay. Whatever.
I mean, it could have been a virus, but...
Oh, no, you know what also happened okay, so the other thing that happened on Sunday was I was worried about a caffeine headache, so I said, let me have some black coffee.
Oh, that's right.
So I had a little bit of
coffee.
black
Because you didn't
coffee.
have any coffee on Saturday.
I didn't have any on Saturday.
And I had said, you're never going to survive till Monday because of the caffeine.
The caffeine, yeah, because before that I had been drinking 2 or 3 cups a day, and so the caffeine was definitely something that I was worried about withdrawing from, and so I wanted to make sure I had some. So I had a little bit of coffee, and then I had diarrhea, and I was like, is the diarrhea from the coffee? Because I know it's like kind of a laxative and also a diuretic. So you weren't
too worried about it.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried. We went to the pool, came back, took a shower. I wasn't feeling great. So and my mom as a nurse was like kind of freaking me out. She was like, oh, if you don't have sodium, your heart's going to explode.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, shoot, maybe I should have some electrolytes. And so I started getting nervous and researching diarrhea during a fast and sodium and electrolytes and do they break your fast and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And so
it's interesting how strict you were with yourself on this fast. And you're not, or you weren't that strict with yourself for intermittent fasting and keto.
Yeah.
Like keto, you're like, oh, I'll have a piece of bread here and there.
Yeah.
You're just totally kind of, I want to say laxadaisy if that's a thing. But for the fast, you're like, absolutely not.
Absolutely
water only. I'm not going to have salt.
Blah, blah,
that's
blah.
going to break my fast.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. So also winding back a bit, at the beginning of the fast, my friend Colin reached out. Thank you, Colin, to say you should try the Zero app. So there's this app called Zero, and it's a fasting timer, but it also has a whole bunch of really informative articles and tools to watch your fasting history and tons of information about fasting. So thank you, Colin. Also, if you haven't already checked it out, go check out Colin's podcast, How You Spend Your Days, his story about becoming debt free, which is cool. Looking on the fasting app, learning all this stuff,
it
researching.
Also had great articles.
Yeah, had great articles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get back from the pool and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have some electrolytes. So I just slam down a whole bunch of magnesium and a whole bunch of electrolyte packets, and in that same drink I put in a whole teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt because I was like, let me get that salt in there.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime you do something like this, and it's always like, you should have magnesium, or you should have electrolytes, you should have pink Himalayan salt. It's all in your cupboard already because your wife is so healthy.
Yeah. I never would have been like, let me go to the store and prep with some pink Himalayan salt. So then the day kept going on, and I was having a really hard time keeping anything inside. I would just immediately it all came out, right? I wasn't retaining anything, so I knew okay, based on my research, this meant that my electrolytes were not at the correct level for my organs to properly be maintaining my fluid levels and flushing out the right stuff and doing all the right things. So I got a little bit scared. I was like, I'm just gonna push through. I can do this. It's totally a mental thing. And so I go to sleep on Sunday night. So Sunday night, 8 p.m. was 48 hours. So I go to sleep Sunday night, and I'm laying in bed, and I am having a really hard time going to sleep, and I have a lot of anxiety. And I'm like, okay, let me just drink some more water. Let me drink some more electrolytes. And so I keep kind of like trying to replenish my electrolytes, but I think they were way too shot from the first day of Saturday, 5 liters of water, no electrolytes. And I was just like not able to rebalance them. And so then I read, oh, you should have at least 2.5 teaspoons. And I had only had one of pink Himalayan salt in order to like get your daily required minimum for sodium. And so I was like, oh shoot, like this, if I don't have enough sodium, the biggest danger is that I have like long-term damage to my heart. So then I started feeling like a little tiny thing in my chest. And I was like, is that chest pain?
Yeah.
Am I gonna have a heart attack? I was like, up and down, up and down, up and down, just kind of like getting up, go to the kitchen, have some more salt and water, and
I forgot it was like the worst night of sleep.
I'm like trying to like sit in the living room at like 5 a.m. and just meditate and kind of like calm my body down, knowing that I have to go into a day of work because it's Monday, and I'm like super high anxiety, super high like worry about my health, and so then I was like, you know what, F this, screw this, this is dumb, like I am putting my health at risk for a thing that I'm like artificially inflicting on myself.
Yeah, and I feel like that was your body telling you like, we're done with this.
Yeah.
Like, go eat something.
Yeah.
I remember waking up. I mean, I didn't really sleep much because you were up and down all night long, and I was worried about you because you were so worried, and I wanted to make sure I didn't wake up to a husband who was not alive next to me.
Yeah.
And so I got up and I was like, what are you doing? And you were like, this is stupid. I'm going to go eat right now.
And you know what? In all honesty, like I probably could have made it to 72. It just would not, like there's a chance that it could have like damaged my health.
It just didn't feel right to you. You were so close. It was Monday morning at like
I made it 6 a.m. 58 hours. Yeah. I made it 58 hours out of 72.
And I was really proud when you, first of all, that you were not so stubborn.
Yeah.
That you were like, this doesn't make sense. I should just go eat. And then when you went to go eat, you like chose the healthiest things.
Yeah. Just like, I was like, I'm going to start with just raw chicken.
Yeah. Well, not raw chicken.
Well, not raw chicken. It was cooked chicken that was not
plain.
Plain cooked chicken, rotisserie chicken breast. Mm-hmm. So I had like 5 or 6 ounces, maybe 4 or 5 ounces of that, and then I went back to bed.
No, you had a banana.
Yeah, that was like an hour later.
Oh,
so then I got up an hour later and I had a banana with almond butter, and I was like, okay, let me make sure that I'm hitting all the right spots. I want to make sure I'm getting good sodium from natural things, get good protein, good carbs from the fruit,
right?
Get good fats from the almond butter,
potassium.
Yeah, potassium and magnesium and like all that stuff. And then like immediately diarrhea went away. Immediately I felt like infinitely better, spry again. I have an incredibly great appreciation, much better appreciation for how crazy our bodies are and how good they are at kind of like sorting out what they need from foods. Like we just eat whatever we eat, right? And like there's some people who eat fast food every day, or people who eat whole foods every single day, and the human body is so incredible that for the most part, even if you do that for like 10 years, for the most part, the human body's like, oh, like I need that nutrient and I need that mineral and I need that vitamin from this cheeseburger or from this like, organic, whole grass-fed hard-boiled egg or something, like your body is just like so good at parsing those things out. And also the fact that your body can last so long without eating, like it's kind of crazy. Like when you do it, you don't realize, like there were a bunch of times where I was like, oh, what are we having for dinner? Like in my head, I was like subconsciously wondering like, what is the next meal that I didn't realize I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it was kind of cool. Again, it wasn't, this fast in particular was not about weight loss. Right. It was just about like the mental challenge. It just so happened that I lost a little bit of weight. Like overall, it was just a tiny bit of weight, but it was interesting experience. I recommend trying a fast, even if it's just 48 hours. Yeah.
You learned so much, and I think that it kind of helped you, even if you were like on some sort of plateau with your like health and fitness, like it kind of changed your mind a little bit. And so now you learned so much, and now I feel like I said this before, like you're really using food as medicine, and like that your body needed that potassium, and so you ate a banana. And so I just kind of feel like you're looking at food a little bit differently. And so I think the fast really helped you with that.
Yeah.
I hated it. It was awful. I was so frustrated with you.
To be clear, you did not actually fast. You just hated that I was fasting.
I did not fast at all. I mean, I was pretty not supportive. I'm sorry. Like, we had In-N-Out one night, and we had ice cream, and I made you go through the Starbucks drive-thru. I'm so sorry. But
those are all good things, though, to add to the mental challenge.
That's
right?
true. I mean, I'm super supportive. You're right.
Yeah.
But it was really hard for me because not eating makes a person pretty grumpy. And it was rough that we get such limited time with you.
Mm-hmm.
You are very busy during the week, which I really appreciate. You're doing all of this to support our family. But the weekends is our time to squeeze in all of that family time. And you were not having it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so frustrated that this wasn't even like necessary.
Yeah.
But we got through it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're stronger for it.
I think so. I think it also, like, the other thing, too, going back to the mental challenge, is it builds up your willpower. You realize after not eating for 58 hours that, like, not eating for 16 hours is totally fine, or not eating a dessert is totally fine. Like,
Right.
if you can go X hours, right? Like, there's no need to,
Yeah.
I don't know. Cool. Should we tell them about the bike crash?
Real quick.
Okay.
It's just a fun story. That's like, Greyson, we've realized that Greyson, it's finally clicked for me, like, this is just going to be him for the rest of his life. But he loves to race. He loves to have a timer set to see how fast he can do something.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves to win. No idea where he got that from. And so he has this new to him bike that we talked about. And he has had 2 giant crashes on this bike.
Yeah.
Because not only do I not know where he got the, like, wanting to win, but I also don't know why he's so clumsy. So he races his bike as fast as he can, and then he hits, like, the side of a curb at just the wrong angle. And twice now he has flown over the handles and just smacked down onto the ground, which as a mom is the worst thing to witness.
Mm-hmm.
And always, I'm like, as it's happening, I'm like, where's the nearest urgent care? How am I going to get him there? I don't have my phone on me. Who has a phone near me? Like, all these thoughts are going through my mind as I'm, like, running over to him. And thankfully, both times, he's been fine.
Yeah.
Bumps, bruises. But as a parent, like, it is just the worst thing. I hate watching it. I'm like, how can we prevent this?
I like it. I'm like, I want you to crash when the stakes are low. I don't want you to, like, never crash. And then...
Yeah, those crashes, both of them have just been so intense that I feel we definitely need to have a talk with him on, like, how to handle...
How to not crash.
Well, I mean, he's so focused on, like, I'm gonna win, that he's not thinking about how he went from a nice, smooth sidewalk to a rocky hill. And so he's going down, like, this pretty... I mean, I think it's steep. It's probably not that big.
For a 7-year-old,
yeah.
It's a steep.
It's a pretty steep,
It's
sandy, rocky
track,
hill. And then that ends and jumps onto, like, blacktop pavement.
Yeah.
And so those are, like, 3 different terrains. And, like, he needs to understand, like, you should probably slow down a little bit when you're going down that massive
just
hill.
Bomb it full speed from the sidewalk, jumps right into the single track, rips down the hill.
So I'm just saying, there's a few things we could probably teach him on how to handle the bike a little bit better, so that these crashes don't keep happening. But man, they have been terrifying.
Terrifying for you, I know. Yeah.
So anyway, if you have
tips about how to make your kid not crash,
they are welcomed. Or if you could just, send a few prayers up that every time that he crashes. It's just a few bumps and bruises. I can handle that.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. He will be.
I guess, I would ask that you think of Nicole every time Greyson crashes.
Yeah. Maybe, pray that I don't get a heart attack.
Yeah.
Grayson's fine and I'm just passed out on the ground. What happened to Mom? Greyson crashed.
Yep.
Anyway.
How's your book goal going for the year?
I am at 12 books.
12 of 13, right?
14. My goal's 14.
Cool.
And I'm in the middle of one book, which I'm pretty sure I'll finish. That's been my issue lately. I've been starting a bunch of books, and then, I don't know, I'm not interested in them enough to go all the way. One of the books I'm reading is Caesar's Way by Cesar Millan.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have a dog. But I really like dogs, so I've been reading that book. It's been
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yes.
And then another book is just a typical.
Rom-com.
Yeah, well,
Is it
yes,
comedy?
That's why I was like, well, maybe it's not typical. To me, it feels a lot like Bones. It's kind of a murder mystery, although we were just told who did it, and I'm only 100 pages in, so I'm curious how that's gonna go.
Shake out,
So that's
yeah.
the one I think I will for sure finish.
Gotcha.
No promises on the Cesar Millan book.
Nice.
How about you?
I've been in kind of a comedy memoir kick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read Steve Martin's Born Standing Up, and then I read A Very Punchable Face by Colin Jost, which is one of the writers of SNL. And oh man,
He was freaking me out because
So
we'd be
funny.
laying in bed. I'm like reading a book or watching TV. He's laying away from me, like his face is away from me, but he's listening to this book, and you can just see him like shaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he having a seizure? What's going on? This is like during the fast
Yeah.
too. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I was just laughing. That's
yeah,
all.
I was laughing out loud by myself.
Yeah.
It's a really funny,
Yeah.
Very Punchable Face. It's pretty new. It came out in 2020. Colin Jost. It has like an orange cover. Definitely recommend. And then I just started this new book called Mastermind, which I think it's called Mastermind. The Mastermind, something like that. It's about this criminal network. It's like a nonfiction story told by a investigative journalist who looked into this like crazy, insane real life story that seriously sounds like it's out of a like Tom Clancy novel.
Cool.
So, yeah.
One last thing before we go.
Sure.
We just listened to a really interesting podcast.
Yes.
There is a gal that I follow on Instagram. Her business name is Organic Olivia. Her name is obviously Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an herbalist, and she's put together a bunch of like tinctures and vitamins that I have taken and love them. And I think she's great. She, I don't know, I just really like her. She does a lot of research. And anyway, in February, her parents came down with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty bad. Her parents were in the hospital, and her mom ended up on a ventilator. And she shared like as much as she could through stories on Instagram, but never really told the full story until now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 3-hour-long podcast, and I asked CJ to listen to it with me. And he had heard of Organic Olivia through me, but he really knew nothing about her and had never followed her on Instagram. And so I was really excited that you agreed to listen to it with me, and wow, it was a really great podcast. It was really
crazy story.
Yeah.
It was so emotionally touching.
It was
Jarring.
I was really surprised. It was really well put together. I do recommend listening to it just to get another perspective on how COVID went for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, her name's Organic Olivia. It's like her most recent podcast. It's like my harrowing story of COVID-19 or something.
Yeah.
And the 3 hours did intimidate us, but we got through it.
We broke it up, and yeah, the kids listened, and I would probably recommend listening without kids. We got some really interesting questions.
Definitely
like, what
not.
does paralyzed mean, and what does it mean to be on a ventilator?
Right.
And
yeah, when we wanted to listen to it in the truck, that was the first thing I asked CJ. I was like, do you think we should listen to this with the kids? But we're trying really hard to
not hide anything from them or sugarcoat things. And,
yeah, and so for us, it was okay. It was fine. But in general, I would say it's probably not great for kids to listen to unless you're prepared to have those conversations.
Yep.
So anyway, really good listen. I recommend that as well.
Totally. Cool. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for another episode of Avilla Theory.
Yay! Hey, guess what? Christopher's birthday's in 6 days.
Oh my gosh! Actually, by the time this comes out, it'll be past my birthday.
Happy birthday, Christopher.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, friends. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.